Okay, let's unpack this. We're diving into some pretty powerful ideas today, all centered around Robin Sharma's The Everyday Hero Manifesto.
Yeah, and our source is that summary transcript, but it gives us, well, a really solid base to explore the main ideas.
Think of this deep dive, maybe, as a call to action. For anyone feeling stuck, maybe going through the motions.
Right. Or, maybe you seem successful on the outside, but inside you feel a bit disconnected.
Or just tired. Tired of the constant chase, the comparing, always feeling like you have to measure up.
Exactly. That cycle.
So our mission here is to cut through that noise. We want to pull out the really impactful insights from this summary.
Kind of the nuggets that offer a shortcut to understanding the core message.
Yes, that message about finding your purpose, your power, your truth, really, and it being inside you all along.
And that's the foundation, isn't it? The source makes it clear. The power for a meaningful, maybe even extraordinary life. It's not out there somewhere.
It's always been within.
Always. You don't need the fame, the fancy title to be a hero. It's about choosing consciously to show up differently.
Starting right where you are. And so this dive is really your guide to understanding what this summary highlights as, well, the key things for stepping into that everyday hero role.
And it kicks off with something that might feel, well, a bit uncomfortable at first.
Yeah, I noticed that.
It really flips our usual thinking. It suggests pain. Pain isn't your enemy.
It says it's a portal. That's a strong word. A portal.
It is. And the why behind it, according to the source, is that pain sort of strips away the noise, the fluff.
It gets rid of the illusions.
Yeah.
Of yourself or the world.
Exactly. It forces you to see what actually needs healing, what needs to grow. It shows you who you really are underneath it all.
So it's not a stop sign, more like
A signal.
Precisely. A signal. Your struggles aren't there to destroy you. They're there to shape you.
The summary even brings up Sharma's own story, right? Dealing with bullying, insecurities, loneliness, yeah. And the idea is that those hard times weren't just obstacles. They became the roots of his purpose.
Gave him depth, empathy. And I guess that resonates. When you think about people you admire, truly heroic figures, they often went through things.
They navigated hardship. The source puts it like, the everyday hero is forged in fire, one choice at a time.
Not born, but forged.
Yeah, which leads nicely into the next big idea. Where does that forging actually take place?
And it's not where you might expect, not on the big stage or in the news.
No, it happens in quiet moments.
It feels like such a contrast to, the world today, always seeking validation.
Right. The source says true heroes don't need titles, they just need heart. Their real integrity shows up when no one is watching.
It's about consistency there.
That's a huge part of it. Heroism is built quietly, piece by piece, when discipline meets devotion.
When effort becomes just who you are.
Yes, through choices that, well, they don't have to be dramatic, they just have to be consistent.
Like how you wake up, how you treat people.
How you show up when there's no applause. Simple things, really.
And the summary puts a lot of weight on those early hours, calls them sacred, a golden window.
The idea is that's when your intentions are clearest, less distraction from the world.
So you can consciously shape your life before the demands kick in.
And it lists those practices. Meditate, reflect, journal, exercise, read.
But not just for productivity, right? It says for presence.
Exactly. It's about being present. And the result is that first hour sets the tone. It becomes the anchor for your day.
Okay, but setting that anchor feels harder now than ever, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, because the summary points to this huge obstacle, distraction.
It really paints a picture there. Your mind, your focus, your time.
Under siege. That's the phrase used. Notifications, endless scrolling.
Shallow conversations, comparing yourself constantly.
It all eats away at your potential, steals your focus.
So fighting that distraction, it's not just about being more productive. It's framed as an act of modern heroism.
It is. And how do you fight back? The summary suggests being intentional.
Setting boundaries.
Definitely. Carving out time for deep work. And crudely, getting good at saying no.
It says not to be rude, but to be real. I like that.
Yeah, because every yes you give to something trivial steals from something important. That really lands.
And this whole battle for focus, for attention, it connects directly to another really empowering idea from the summary.
Which is?
That you don't need a title to lead.
Ah, yes. That's a powerful reframing of leadership.
Totally. It's not about power over others.
It's about power over yourself, self-mastery.
And it shows up in how you carry yourself, how you treat people.
How you stay calm when things get chaotic. How you lead with heart, with service, with your values. That's leadership.
The summary gives those great examples too.
Uh,
The teacher who inspires, the janitor taking pride in their work.
the single parent managing everything with grace. People who aren't famous, but they're giants in spirit.
So how do these people, these everyday leaders, build that quiet greatness? What's the mechanism?
Habits. It comes down to habits.
Described as tiny daily decisions stacked one on top of the other.
And Sharma has that term, the habit stack of mastery.
Right. And it lists specific things. Waking up early, moving your body,
Reading, reflecting, planning your day.
saying no to the distractions we just talked about.
And saying yes to what truly matters, what aligns with you.
And the power isn't in doing something huge once, it's the daily consistency.
Done daily, they shape everything. That's the idea. It suggests progress becomes identity, and identity becomes destiny.
Wow. So the focus really shifts, doesn't it? It's not just about achieving more stuff.
No, it's about becoming more, building a life that's not just successful on paper, but rich, meaningful.
Where your work actually feeds your soul, not just your wallet.
Which leads to this whole redefinition of what true success even looks like.
Not followers, not dollars.
But peace, passion, purpose, the strength of your relationships, your health, that feeling of alignment.
Actions matching values. It calls this the new wealth.
I like that term, the new wealth. And a key part of cultivating that is kindness.
Which the summary calls an underestimated form of strength.
And even a revolution in a world addicted to ego. That's pretty strong.
It is. And it emphasizes kindness, not just when it's easy, but when it's hard.
Being kind when you're tired, generous when stressed, forgiving when you feel bitter.
Yeah. It's described as this quiet, soul-shifting power.
That ripples out and lifts everyone, not just the person receiving it.
But then the summary adds another layer, which feels important. Kindness alone isn't enough.
Right. You must be brave.
So what does that look like, everyday bravery?
Well, it's acting when it might be easier not to. Speaking up.
Daring to be misunderstood. Maybe walking your own path, even if it's lonely.
Believing in something strongly enough to risk things for it. And it defines bravery not as being fearless.
But as moving forward even with trembling hands.
Exactly. Fear is there, but you act anyway.
And the summary is realistic here. It says the world will test you. You'll face judgment, doubt.
You'll fall. But the everyday hero gets back up. Why? Because their mission is worth it.
It calls this the path of truth.
Yeah. And it demands more, but gives everything real in return.
So while you're on that path, trying to be brave, trying to be kind,
Yeah.
there's another danger.
The summary warns about the trap of the crowd.
That pressure to just blend in,
Yeah.
chase trends, keep yourself small so you don't rock the boat.
Yeah, play small so others don't feel uncomfortable, and the plea is really direct.
Don't betray your brilliance just to be accepted.
Don't dilute your dreams to fit into someone else's box.
It insists your genius lives beyond the rules. Your soul wasn't built for average.
Powerful stuff. And what's the countermeasure? How do you stay grounded against that pressure?
Solitude, stillness,
But not loneliness, right? It's specific about that. It's sacred silence.
time away from the noise,
Yeah.
time in nature maybe. Or just time alone with your thoughts.
Because that's where you can hear your inner voice, where your vision gets clearer.
When you remember who you are, fundamentally.
Which really brings us to, like, the ultimate core truth that the summary drives home.
Which is,
You are already enough.
just as you are. You don't need to prove anything, perform constantly, achieve perfection.
None of that determines your inherent worth. You matter simply by choosing to show up. Intentionally. Authentically.
Honoring your values. Living a life that feels good on the inside, not just looks good on the outside.
And when you make that choice, the effect is profound. Your work becomes sacred. Your actions align.
Your days feel purposeful. Your whole life becomes a kind of quiet revolution.
Yeah. Heroism isn't the big, flashy, saving the world thing. It's saving your integrity one choice at a time.
Becoming someone who lifts others just by how they live.
And the summary talks about an awakening moment. But it's not always fireworks.
Sometimes it's quiet, like an ordinary morning, looking in the mirror.
And just knowing you're done. Done pretending, done proving, done dimming your light, done living half a life.
It's that point where the questions you ask yourself change, isn't it?
Totally. You stop worrying, will they like me?
And start asking, will I respect myself at the end of today?
You stop chasing the external stuff, titles, approval, likes.
And start asking better questions. How can I live better? How do I give more love? How can I be useful?
It calls this shift a return to truth.
And it draws that contrast again. The world has plenty of influencers.
But maybe lacks integrity, lacks soul.
And that's where you, the listener, come in. The message is so direct.
You don't need millions of followers to have an impact.
You don't need permission to lead your own life.
You don't need to be perfect to matter.
It's just about choosing. Choosing to stop shrinking and start rising.
Stop hiding, start healing, stop chasing what looks good.
And start building what feels right, deep down.
And that decision, to live fully, authentically, bravely, the summary says it's not small.
Not small at all. It's the exact place where a hero is born.
The everyday hero, the one who takes responsibility, plants seeds, lifts others.
Turns their pain into wisdom. And it happens because you just decided.
Decided that this life, this one life, deserves your whole heart. That's your turning point.
So when you boil it all down, what this manifesto is really about, according to the summary,
It's coming home to yourself.
peeling away all those layers. The pressure, the need to be perfect, the race.
And remembering who you were before the world told you who you should be.
It's choosing every single day to live with heart.
To rise up because you know it's time. To be better, not for applause, but because.
That's what people of honor do. They evolve, they stretch, they grow, even when no one's watching.
And your past, it doesn't define you. Your pain isn't the end.
It's the beginning of your becoming. Shame, heartbreak, self-doubt.
They're not weights holding you down forever. They're raw materials, fuel for your fire.
The starting point of your power.
Wow. And it asks for that perspective shift again. Mornings aren't a rush to survive.
They're sacred ground to shape your destiny.
Habits aren't chores. They're rituals for greatness.
And leadership isn't for the few. It's your birthright. It's in how you love, how you listen, how you live.
You don't need to go viral to leave a legacy.
You don't need 1 million followers to matter to the people around you,
You don't need to wait for the world to crown you.
when you already have the power to crown yourself.
So what the manifesto delivers, in the summary's view, isn't really a roadmap to fame.
It's a mirror.
Yeah, a mirror described as beautiful, sometimes uncomfortable, always truthful.
Reflecting back the brilliance, the grit, the kindness, the courage.
That the summary insists is already within you.
And that everyday hero image comes back again. Not the loudest person.
No, the one who listens deeply, acts with integrity when no one sees, chooses excellence over ease.
Love over ego, meaning over attention.
Think of those examples again. The nurse, the teacher, the single father, the person battling anxiety with quiet strength, the artist, the friend.
People who don't make headlines, but they make humanity better.
The revolution Sharma's calling for, as it's summarized, it isn't loud or flashy.
It's a deep, soul-centered uprising.
Ordinary people choosing extraordinary lives through courage, kindness, consistency.
It's that feeling of waking up and thinking, this life will not pass me by.
Showing up each day saying, okay, I might not be perfect, but I will be present, purposeful, powerful.
Realizing you don't need more time, you need more truth.
Stop chasing the spotlight. Light up from within.
Stop trying to be someone else. Reclaim who you've always been.
That, the summary concludes, is the everyday hero.
So that's our deep dive. We've really explored these core ideas from the summary, all about finding that heroism inside.
It's a lot to think about.
It really is. And as you, listening, reflect on all this, here's that final thought drawn straight from the source material for you to consider.
If the world truly needs leaders with integrity and soul, more than influencers chasing clout,
And if real success is measured internally by peace, purpose, alignment, not by followers or dollars,
then how might your everyday choices, starting today, redefine what truly matters in your own life?